Oh, hello everybody. Uh, we are going to, I can't put that on different monitors for now, so I'll keep checking back on that. Um, I'm just going to look on YouTube real quick. I'm not used to streaming live, so I'm going to make sure that in YouTube we are actually live if we have the computer speed to do all this. Oh, that is not wrong. Yeah, we don't want YouTube TV. Make sure OBS set it up correctly. So, do, 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 do. I got music on in the back. All right, we are live. Cool. All right, so we're going back through the month of July looking for good setups uh, that should have been taken. Now, uh, I didn't completely lock in my trade setups um, for just at the end of July. So that's why I want to go back through July and see what I've been doing. Now, I've got some notes here because the first trading day um, was July 7th. Uh, and from the 7th to the 11th, we took four trades. Um, took one on the 7th, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. So we did not trade the 8th because there was no good setup. It was consolidation day. Uh, our, if we had lost every trade that week that should have been entered, we would have lost $148. Okay. Um, and this is entering with two micros and adding two micros if I get the opportunity to add. Um, two of the four trades we got to add on, two of them we did not before hitting target, and total profit on the week was $1,214. Now, the significance of that, and again, just 1 week so far, um, but the significance of that is that I'm trading with a uh, now $800 account. It was 600, 700 when I started. I made $100 last week. Uh, and I think I only traded it that one day. So $1,214 uh, is almost doubling the account. Okay, it's actually 1.5 uh, times the account, which would be absolutely ridiculous. Um, and again, my total risk was only $150. So, on an $800 account, yeah, do I want to lose 150 bucks? No, but I would have had to have lost every trade I entered that week. Okay. Um, so that is what it is. So we're into the second week, and we're on the 15th here. On the 14th, we took one trade for four contracts. Um, and we got one set up with four contracts. And I'll also show you how I'm managing the trades, how I will manage trades, because there are certain conditions that have to be met for me to add to a trade, um, and then how we look at where our target's going to be, right? So, all right. Also, that risk um, is based on a 5 minute chart. Okay. Um, so that's fantastic. If I was trading the 1 minute chart, we could probably reduce that risk a little bit, either reduce the risk or add size to make more money. So um, I preferably would rather reduce risk, being at $148 risk for the entire week. If I lost every trade, um, I'd really like that to be closer to $100. If I had a bad week, I would like to just lose $100. Now, is that possible even moving to the 1 minute chart? I don't know. The problem is I can't go back on the 1 minute chart to the first week of July and trade it through. So I'm using my setup on the 5 minute chart, my risk parameters, my ad conditions, and my targets. Okay. So again, uh, Monday of the second week we took one trade for four contracts, $300 profit. On Tuesday, um, we took a trade, four contracts, so we got an ad there for $380. Okay, and that is this trade right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just move on to the next day and see what we've got. So basically, when I come into the market around 7:30, um, I want to just see what we've done, right? So we had this consolidation. We broke above Sunday. It came down, swept the lows, and immediately went up and took the high. Okay. Um, so I'd be watching this. Um, let me remove that. Let me remove this one up here. All right. So this had one, a second. That's a grind. And when we get to the open, well, this is news. Okay. So the news comes in and we go vertical right up to this daily, right? Okay. Um, now, what I'm looking for is what are we going to do from here, right? Now, my rule would be when we get an up move like this, now, one I have to take into consideration, we've had one move up, then we've had two moves up that took this high, and now we just had a blast up, uh, I would imagine on some kind of news that took this high. So I want to see, if when we pull back, where does the pullback go to, right? Um, and we've got to keep moving this up. So we come down, we really don't get any strength showing up. Okay. Um, I'm going to be very careful here because of we're on our third leg up and we're at a pivot point. Yeah, it finally does shoot up here. And this is what I don't want to see right here is a close below the 66. Okay. So that invalidates the long for me. We would have to hold one of these three levels here. Uh, and definitely not close below the 66. Okay, which is, if you also notice, is a closure between the halfway, below the halfway point of this big fair value gap. So we come all the way down, and now we're going to be measuring this a little bit different. Because we had this crash bar, and we'll count that entire move right there as the crash bar up there. Okay, and we'll move this one up to the high. Okay, again, we close this candle breaks it, and we close above 66. So I don't know if I could take that. Okay. Now, what I could take, this is a serious crash bar, right? All right. So now I want to look at it from there. Okay. Now, one, I've got to move my entire low all the way down here. Okay. And I would not want to see it close above 66. Now, if I was looking for shorts, this would fake me out right here. Okay. But what I'm looking for to actually enter the trade, and so we get rid of that, is this particular crash bar on its own. Okay. We get right here. Now I want to look at where's my pullback. Okay. It's to the current open and the previous day's low. And then we come back down and we break below that. Okay. Now I would probably get in right there. Okay. Um, the question is, oh, wrong one, the short. Okay. Once we got back below the daily low there, because we are also touching the nine in the area of the nine there, we're coming off, we bounced back off of the 200, and now I'm getting a red candle. Okay. So if I entered here and I just risked the top of that red candle there, okay, and I was looking to take this down to these pivot points, that's plenty of room, right? All right. Now we would enter the trade with two contracts. All right. So we'd be risking 35 and we'd win 227. And we do that in just a couple minutes. Or well, actually, yeah, 2 minutes. Well, that's this 5 minute chart. So 5, 10 minutes later, we've hit our target and we've made $227. Okay. We didn't get a chance to add to that trade. So that's it. Uh, we're done. We we're over $200 for the day, and we don't have to worry about anything else that the market does on this day. And we're done trading right around 11:30, 11:35. Okay. That's it. We don't need to do anything else. So on this day, we took a trade that made $225 with two contracts. We didn't get any out there, and that was on the 16th. All right. All right. So let's go on to the 16th, which should be Thursday. Oops. Let's just double check that. No, I take that back. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, my days are screwed up. Okay. Well, we'll just have to discount that. No, I need to figure this out. Hold on. Oh, no wonder. Duh. July 7th through the 11th that week, 14th, 15th, 16th. So now we're on the 17th, which is Thursday. Okay. So again, we'll come into the market. Let's get rid of this one here. Delete. Okay. and we come into the pre-market right around 7:30. So we fell to the 200. London shut up, consolidated. We've broken the low, and we're back at the 200. So what exactly are we looking for here? Um, Again, we're kind of waiting for the market to show its strength, and we get the 8:30 move here. Um, there's a good clearing bar right here, uh, but we get a really big wick. Okay, we're back in range. So the next one comes off that, off the 200, closes above the 9. As soon as we get that color change right there, this is my entry point. Okay, and that's on the 8:35 candle. I'm going to go ahead and enter there, and I'm going to risk that color change candle. Okay, and since it's right at the SMAs, I'm going to just below the SMAs. That's a 3.5 point risk. Okay. Um, Now what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking to go to this target here. Okay. Um, Now this, if we go from swing low, I even say here, and we go to the high. Okay. Well, that's when we bounced off the 200. We could have done it here as well. Anything lower than this um, would just make it even better. But we got our color change right off of the 66. We didn't close. We bounced back, and we color change right there. Okay, so we could wait for that there. Um, and actually, okay, this is the this is the open. Okay, so I could take this trade and at the open, crazy, but I can, um, and take that risk. Okay, okay. Now I would take this trade over here. I can literally add right here at any point. Okay, let's just say I added as soon as we got to, we probably hit there, pulled back, and then broke through. And I hate to do that. You know what? I would not want to take that right at the open. I don't mind staying in the trade, okay, and losing. Uh, oh, well, let's redo that. All right. Um, which would, I mean, we've got a $35 stop. Okay, I perfectly fine with that. We don't close below the 66, and we push back up. Um, and we actually hit our target right here. at 11:05 for $200. Yeah, it's not one of our best days, but it's a $200 day. You know, I'm just not going to argue with it. And we only risked $35. Okay. Um, shoot, I didn't write the risk down for the rest of the week. So back to that. So this was $200 with two comms. We didn't add because we were right at the open when we got to that position, um, and just decided to wait. Okay. Um, so let me run back real quick. Uh, so that was a $35 risk. This trade, $45 risk. If we didn't move our stop down once when we added, which we probably did, I usually do. Um, when I get my ads, I usually have the opportunity to move my stop up a little bit. So that would be a $50 risk. Wait one more day here on the 11th. That's pretty much my most all the risk. All right. So where are we at? We got that day. Now, there is a way to stay in these trades. Um, and as you can see, let me just remove all the drawings. Okay. So when you get this push up that breaks and you start your pullback, all you have to do is put that 33% on, uh, and you don't want to see it close below the 66. Okay. And then when you get your color change, you know, you you can hold on a little bit. Okay? So if we were in this trade over here somewhere and we didn't add, we get up here, we come back down, we're waiting to see, are we going to get it, stay in this trade, or are we going to get out? Well, if you don't have a close below the 66, stay in the trade, because then we go make new highs again. Well, then you move that up, and you move this up to the bottom of that move. But that one doesn't even get below the 33. Okay, and you come up and you take new highs. Okay. Now, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move it to that high. We're gonna move this up to the bottom of that move. Okay. Again, you hold the 33. You don't make a new high. You come back, you hit 33 again, then you go up and make new highs again. Okay. Now, I'm only looking for a move to make three legs. Okay. So this is one, the pull back, that's two, pull back, that's three up to this pivot point. I'd be out of the trade up here. Okay. You get four, you even get, kind of five there. And it keeps going up a little bit, but you're not getting the pushes above new highs are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. See that? So, and you're not getting a good trend line. You get a short little push up, and then you break below again. Short little push up, break below the SMAs. Short little push up, break below. This is, where you got to kind of watch out. Okay. But we made our money. You would have made your money on that trade there, which we did. That's the trade we entered, right? Okay. Why would we not wait until we get that big push? Well, over here, you get the push up. Now, again, you didn't break the highs, and then you have another pullback. Well, where does that pullback go to? Well, if you have from the swing low to the swing high, you see it doesn't close below 66. As soon as you get back above the SMAs here, you can go long, risking the SMA. Okay, so that gives you your entry right there. Even with that big wick, you can still take that trade. Okay, and just you can risk that low, or you can just risk, you know, right below the SMA. Okay, you would have to risk that low. Always risk the low. Well, yeah, risk the 66. Sorry. Hey, so you got a risk there. But just getting back up to that is a 3.3 to 1 trade. Okay? If you held on to that for, you know, 15 more minutes, because you create fair value gap holds, you can watch that and get closer to the next one. So that's almost a 5. Okay? On two contracts, that's a $322 day. You know, are you just happy with your $200 and be done with it? Uh, you know, it's kind of, what's going on at the moment. I might have actually waited because at that point on the week, I have six, seven, eight, $900 profit. So I would be okay giving back. Once I got to the $200 mark here, I'd be willing to give back $100 if it fails that fair value gap. And go ahead and close it down here below the SMAs. But wait a few more minutes and make another $130. Okay? And a lot of that, whether you hold on to a trade and see if you can get more out of it, is going to be dependent on how have you already done that week? Have you already done that day? Is this first trade of the day? Okay, well, it's first trade of the day. How have I done this week? I'm 900 bucks. I'm up 200 right now. I could easily hold on to this and see if those fair value gaps hold, or give back $100 and close trade for 100, be up $1,000 for the week. Okay, so that's probably the most likely outcome for me. Okay, but we'll just go ahead and write down the 200. All right, so let's move on to Friday and see now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now Friday comes and we're up $1,100, right? All right, so we'll remove everything here. And we come into Friday, okay, kind of look at what we've done. From the open, we pushed up, broke highs again, broke highs for a third time. Now that's 3 runs up in the overnight. And then we have this crash here that takes out lows. Okay, I'm going to be real interested on what happens from here, right? As we are coming into the open. But when we get to the open, we have a push down here that sweeps the low, a push up. Nothing is showing me strength here. Okay. First sign of strength we get is this here. So let's see what that looks like. And it started here, and we started pulling back here. We're just in consolidation, okay? Which consolidation is fine, but I want to see it get up in this area, right? But when we touch the 50 and then we get a color change off the 50, that would be a good place for me to start a position, right? As soon as we color change that, and I can risk that, and I'd be looking just to get down to there. But look at that. It's a 4-to-1 trade. All right. And what does that 4-to-1 trade actually look like with 2 contracts? Because we certainly don't get a chance to add to this trade. Okay. Not a great chance. It's $122. Now, we do come back below the 9 and then have a 9 hold and have another color change right here. So let's just see if we added, that would pull us down to about here. We'd pull our risk down to here. And this would be with 4 contracts. Okay, that's a $200 trade. So we're up $1,300 a week. Now, I probably wouldn't have done that, and I would have made the 120. That would be on 2 contracts. I would have bought a $50 risk. Okay, so that's the end of the week, second week. Um, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $1,200. Same as last week. Uh, Probably risk a little bit more on this week, but I'm okay with the each trade's risk because we start the week off on day one with a $300 profit, okay, risking $50. And so every other day is around no more than a $50 risk with a $300 profit, and we just have profitable day after profitable day after profitable day. So far we've had 10 days of profitable trading here. Now I'm not gonna I'm not gonna continue this session, but I just wanted everybody to see, this is my trade lock. Yeah, I'm looking for strength in the market. I'm looking for the pullback to hold this 50% or 33% levels and give me a color change off of it. Okay. And take a trade from there, manage it well, add if I can, and take it down to, a pivot point if it's close. Um, if we had this other down push and it looked like we were going to do something here, um, but we don't really have any strength or weakness. We just consolidate through, right? So, and this trade actually wouldn't have happened until around noon. Um, Honestly, you know what? I'm probably not on the charts at noon. You know, we we get our push down here, but then we just consolidate like crazy. Um, I can't take this trade here because from the 25 to there is enough if I were to get in at the 25. But I don't know what this is going to do. I'd much rather see something come up to the 50 or between the 50 and 66 at a level. Well, this came up to this fair value gap and it never touched it. It fell over. Um, Now, you could also say, well, if I'm going to enter on that color change, okay, and risk the 66, okay, that's a much bigger risk. Now, if you're gonna trade it that way, really, you can only enter with one contract, okay. And if I do that, I would just risk the color change. So, you know, you can give yourself a lot more room, and that also puts you back up around the 200 and everything else. But there's not enough risk reward just down to the next pivot point there. You're right at a one. I don't like one to ones. All right, so I'm gonna cut this here. I just want to go back to YouTube and see, are we still live? Um, then I'm gonna finish out the last 2 weeks on my own, but that's a real quick way of showing you my setups and showing you how I manage trades and how it would come out. Okay. I am going to be on live a lot more here shortly, probably starting Tuesday. Um, I fly back to Florida tomorrow. I don't get in until around midnight um, Tuesday morning. If I get enough sleep and get up before the open, I'll be on Tuesday. If not, we'll start the live sessions on Wednesday. Um, and we'll see if I can't take these trades the way that uh, my trade plan tells me to. Okay. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I appreciate everybody watching. Um, you know, and we'll see how next week goes. Obviously, all of my streams are going to be for educational purposes, uh, and I'm not a financial advisor or tell anybody to buy or sell any assets in the markets. Um, I'm just here to show you what I do. And if you like what I do your research on it, um, and make up your own trade plan. Please do not follow my trades. I will see everybody later. I appreciate you. And Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll start trading live, and I will no longer be in this truck.